All right, we live.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the GOAT James Kingdom Show with B. Lee and A. Johnny. As y'all know, we go live every Sunday, noon Eastern time, to talk basketball and the GOAT conversation right here on our YouTube channel, which is the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Shout out to everybody who's already a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button, the ring notification, and also share our content as Brandon and I will continue to drop bombs as basketball is coming right around the corner, gentlemen. I don't care that it's football season. We're basketball fans, so we appreciate basketball. We also like football, but basketball is right around the corner. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA season starting as far as preseason goes. So today's episode, we are going to be discussing the 2024 Lakers prediction. Are they still title contenders? Are they not title contenders? What are the Lakers' odds in winning a championship for the new season? So we're going to talk about the Lakers and everything that goes on with that. Shout out to everybody that's already in the comments. We see we have our GOAT James Kingdom member, John. Peace out to John. What's good, brother? Thank you for joining us. Again, you guys can go ahead and check out the membership for GOAT James Kingdom, all the perks that go along with that. We appreciate all the support from everybody that comes in. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing, man. This is GOAT James Kingdom. We got Travis in the building. What up, Travis?
What's up, gentlemen? How's it going?
Yes. So Brandon's here, obviously. What up, Brandon?
It's good.
All right, so we're going to have a great show today. You got somebody you're going to bring onto the show, Travis? You bringing another?
Yes, throughout the invites, Mr. Cam Young. GOAT James.
Oh, Cam Young. Yeah, shout out to Cam Young, who has been actually on fire these past couple of weeks on our GOAT James Kingdom platform and our group in Facebook. He really has got some people riled up, man. I mean, this guy here, he's in other groups too. I see him in other groups too as well. Shout out to Cam. Yeah, he's more than welcome. And again, we are going live right now on the Facebook group, which is GOAT James Kingdom. You can catch us on TikTok. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter as well, and also right here on Facebook. So we're going to get right to it, man. Brandon, people are confused. You're not a Laker fan, but you're a LeBron fan, correct?
Yeah.
But were you a Laker fan before LeBron joined the Lakers, or you a Laker fan because of LeBron?
I'm just a LeBron fan.
Okay. So that's what I usually tell folks. I tell them that you're a LeBron fan. So you were a Cleveland fan before this, correct?
Yep.
All right. So they probably make fun of you for that, just that alone, just for the fact that you don't have a team, which is funny because most Michael Jordan fans aren't Bulls fans.
Majority. Sorry, they say I'm not a Jordan fan. I just love him.
So all right. So I mean, obviously you guys know I am a Miami Heat fan. That's my team. That's my city. That's where I'm from. But I do got the Lakers going into the finals this year, like I always do, because of LeBron James. We'll talk about that later. But what's your team, Travis?
Honestly, I used to be a huge Lakers fan, and then I just kind of fell off, not because of LeBron, but like because I just lost interest in the game in general, as far as like watching it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I was pulling for the Bucks last year, but then the Heat. I was kind of, but I mean, I don't really have a team per se, but I mean, I just appreciate the game right now.
You got to, man. The game is great. It's a great game. Mm-hmm. So let's get to it then. Let's start with you, Brandon. The Lakers, they did some great moves during the trade deadline last year. They made some offseason moves. They re-signed some key pieces. They gave AD his extension. So is it still LeBron's team first, or is it AD's team? Who's the true leader? Who's the team going to be running around, LeBron or Anthony Davis?
Well, it's still LeBron's team. He's the best player on the team. He was last year. He's going to continue. He most likely retire. Anthony Davis is great, but I don't think he could be the leader of a LeBron James team because LeBron controls the ball too much.
So that's what I'm saying. So they're still going to run the offense around LeBron's transition ability to get in the paint and create basically offense that way by passing the ball and moving around. Correct?
Yeah, that's just LeBron game. He's going to run the show like he's always done. He's a point guard, so that's what he's going to do. and he's gonna have the ball in his hand unless he chooses to allow somebody to run the offense for a little bit. But most likely it's gonna be LeBron when it matters, controlling the ball.
All right. So, what's the starting lineup? What you say the starting lineup will be for the start of the season?
It's gonna be D'Lo, of course. Then Reeves, LeBron. They're going to put Anthony Davis at the 4 and probably Christian Woods at the 5. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do. But they got Rui, and he's better than Christian Woods. But I just think that's going to be the 5 to start. But the best 5 will be Rui at the 4 and Anthony Davis at the 5. So that's going to be closing the game.
All right. So what are your predictions for your Lakers then? Where did they go this year?
Well, they was the best team last year. LeBron just hurt. That's why they didn't win. And they're going to be the best team if LeBron don't get hurt again. They should have won the title if LeBron was healthy. So they're going to win the title this year with a whole training camp and a little bit of an upgrade of a roster.
Are Schroeder's not on the team? So who's going to be the backup? Who's the backup?
With that Gabe dude from the Heat they got, I'm pretty sure he's gonna.
Oh, Gabe Vincent. Yes, it was Gabe
or Schroeder. So.
Yeah, they got Gabe Vincent. All right, so you got the Lakers as the best team in the West, so they're favorites to make the finals, correct?
I think they're going to win the title if everybody's healthy, which it hasn't been the case. But if they are the best team.
And is it going to be against the Nets? Are you still going with the Nets? Are you changing your Eastern Conference team this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change it because the Nets do not have Kevin Durant on the team no more.
Well, that's going to be a tough thing for the Lakers to get to the finals, man. That's going to be fun, man. We'll do more.
Hopefully, it's the Heat, so we can have an easy win.
Oh, here we go. Oh my God!
Hopefully the Heat, so we can have an easy win again.
Oh my goodness! I mean, they weren't a challenge to the Nuggets neither, man. Come on, man, leave my Heat alone, man.
I'm rooting for the Heat this year because every time you say they're good, they end up almost being in the finals or being in the finals. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Heat this year. Heat and Lakers.
All right, so Travis, what you think, man? What do you think of the Lakers' odds? We know they had a great run to end the season last year. They actually finished the season 10 wins out of the last 12 games. So they were really making a push. They were 43-39 last year. What's the prediction for you? What do you think about the Lakers this year?
I mean, I like their roster. Like I said, I think they made some good moves. Gabe Vincent was a great pickup. You got a good mix of some depth. You got, Jalen Hood. You got Jackson Hayes. Jared Vanderbilt, I thought was an acquisition there. But they should have a good lineup. Like LeBron, Christian Wood, Rui obviously is going to start this year. But like Brandon said, it's really just incredibly dependent on health. I mean, I'm not sure what was going on with like LeBron injury, but like if AD's healthy and he's playing at like he was down the stretch and like for most of the playoffs, like at that level, Lakers gonna be hard to beat because I think he's a top 4 or 3 or 4 big man in the league when he's healthy and he's on his game, especially defensively. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's still going to be a war zone between, obviously, if Phoenix is healthy, but I think the Nuggets are really prime to repeat there, especially if they're healthy. But like I said, it's really just those two guys. If those two guys are leading from the front, LeBron and AD, and they're healthy, then they're going to be tough to beat. But I think I would put money on the Nuggets right now, coming out again. But Lakers, you can't sleep on them.
Yeah, the West is going to be tough because they still have the Nuggets, the defending champs. Obviously, the Warriors got a little bit better, I guess, adding CP3. Then you have
Phoenix. Yeah.
Then you got Phoenix, obviously the super team of this year. Wasn't there talks of Dame Lillard going over there too as well?
Wasn't he trying to force his way to like Miami or something?
That's why I'm so down about going into the preseason because I'm like, man, we don't even have Dame Lillard yet. Are we gonna go for him? Are we not? What are we doing? He's just making it harder for me to be ready for the season. It's like, are we gonna have him on the roster or not? Like, it don't make no sense.
Yeah, I mean, what would you have to give up to get him too? Like
They want more than what we have. We don't have enough. Supposedly, there's a third team involved. That I forgot what the team was.
Yeah.
But still, I think that's what it was. I think Phoenix was the third team involved, and somehow we still would have got Dame Lillard, but they would have got somebody too as well to add to their team to help with their depth. They would have got rid of Ayton. So, yeah. But
I mean,
again,
you guys really need. You guys need
rumors. Those are rumors.
I think you guys need a front court help more than anything, right? I would say.
No, we need a point guard. We need a point guard. We just lost Gabe Vincent. We're still stuck with Lowry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hero's coming back fully healthy. The team is still. I still like our team, but I mean, yeah, getting Dame Lillard would be nice so that we can, start preparing for the team. It's nice to do it now than to do it during the season when the season starts and having players confused or thinking whether or not they're going to be on the roster or not by the end of the season.
Yeah, you want to gel for sure.
Yeah, you want to, you want everybody comfortable, and Portland's not pulling the trigger.
That's been an ongoing month long saga. It's crazy.
I mean, they actually want to return for him. Just don't want to give away.
Oh, how dare they? How dare they want equal value for Dame?
Can't blame them, man. You want our franchise player.
I mean, they ain't even close to that because they don't have nobody to trade because they don't want to trade their best players.
So listen to the comments. We got our famous people are in the comments. Liddy is here. Liddy said Cam Reddish is trash, which I was going to bring up. Cam Reddish is actually a good pickup for the Lakers. And he just said here, Cam Reddish is in his 7th or 8th NBA season. Cam Reddish has only played 4 NBA seasons. He was drafted with the same class as RJ Barrett, right? They went to
he was drafted with Zion and stuff.
So I mean, he has not had his breakout season, but I do think that playing under LeBron James will help him. He will understand his role a little bit more because that's the thing about playing in some of these teams and being a basketball player. Sometimes these guys end up on a team not knowing exactly what their role is, and the coach is not really defining it. Under LeBron James, Cam Reddish will flourish. I like the option of having him. He's a wing defender. He's a hustler. Him and Vanderbilt are going to be great for the Lakers. Mm-hmm. So I like the Lakers going into this year. Again, I like the parity for this year's NBA. It is really up in the air. But the Lakers do have a great shot. I don't like, the idea that LeBron is still the main guy. Who is their backup center? Hayes?
Yeah, Hayes.
Hayes or Hayes? What's his name?
Who knows? He could be the starter. Who knows?
Oh my God!
But they really should bring back Dwight Howard. I don't understand why they don't want Dwight on the team.
Yeah, I don't understand it neither. Yeah, I mean he's still serviceable. I mean I
just don't understand. It's weird.
Yeah, if DeAndre Jordan and JaVale McGee can still have roster spots in today's NBA,
Dwight's better than both of them.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see why Dwight Howard can't have it. Just a roster spot. That doesn't make no sense.
I mean, they definitely could have used him last year. I don't understand it. What did he do to piss the Lakers off so bad?
Yeah, the NBA has that thing, man, with certain players, man. They just I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know what it is.
It said Dwight can only rebound and pick up fouls, but I mean, he's a strong 7-foot guy who rebounds and allows Anthony Davis to roam.
No, but he can defend as well. He's a smart defender.
He allows Anthony Davis to roam.
Exactly. He'll exactly because Anthony Davis doesn't want to be that guy. Anthony Davis doesn't want to bang.
And when he does, it hurts the Lakers because they need him to roam on defense. He's the damn safety, him and LeBron. That's how they beat the damn Lakers because both of them was roaming. I mean, they have a formula. Just use it.
Oh my God! This guy says here, and right here, I'm looking at it, my friend. Cam Reddish, 4 years experience in the NBA from Duke. He was born 1999. Cam Reddish did not play 7 seasons in the NBA. Stop counting. Stop counting the seasons you see on Basketball Reference because he was traded twice. So you got to look at the blue, not the gray, when you're looking at Basketball Reference.
Oh, he's counting when he been traded during the season. Like, yeah,
Yeah, because they,
that's that dude, Liddy. Sometimes he just say weird things.
Pause. Everything. Pause. So, but I mean, I like the Lakers' odds this year, but I want to know: are they title contenders? Let us know in the comments, guys. Are the Lakers title contenders? If the Lakers do not make the NBA Finals, is that a failure? Are they still the champions? Are they still supposed to be the champions because of whatever reason?
I mean, they was in the Western Conference Finals last year, so they should by default be title contenders.
Emilio says we are contenders. John says they are contenders. Yes, it is a failure if they don't win it all. So some people are saying, I mean, that is amazing. If LeBron James is going to lead a team in year 21 at 38, 39 years old, and that team is still considered a title contending team without an all-star player on his side or all NBA player on his side, because no matter what y'all say, Anthony Davis has not made an all-star and all NBA in 3 years. There's nothing that says he will make it this year.
They're in trouble, man, if he doesn't make it, because he has to, like you said, it's really going to be on, if AD misses like 30 or 40 games, they're like, Lakers aren't going to sniff the Western Conference Finals unless they're there.
No, but I said, I mean, even if he plays 60 games, even if he plays the 65 to make the eligible, I don't think he's going to.
It's whoever gets hot at the right time and who's healthy,
Anthony Davis could play 20 games and come back in the playoffs, and they can win a title. So it doesn't really matter how many games he plays. It's just if he could play in the playoffs.
They showed last year that it's a matter of just making the playoffs. Really, you got to make it because it's wide open after that.
Oh man, LeBron's gonna have to handle that. That's what I'm saying. The load of LeBron. What up, Cam? Thank you for joining us, brother.
Oh, of course, man. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, man. Cam? All right, first off, let me give you a shout out. We want to, send out a good appreciation to you for what you do on the Facebook group, man. You have posts that's reached over 1 million people. You have posts that have hundreds of shares, thousands, tens of thousands of comments, brother. You get under their skin. You really do. And it's not your fault. All you doing is speaking facts. It's just speaking facts. So we always tell people they're safe in the comments, but you're on Goat James Kingdom. This is your platform, brother. You get 2 minutes, 3 minutes to let us know what's good, bro.
I mean, yeah, man. The intention is never to, get under anybody's skin. I feel like the main thing is it's a combination between, speaking my opinion and, providing logic and facts behind it. And then exposing flaws in logic. I feel like a lot of times when people see a post and they're like, oh, this is a dumb post, but it's mostly like some of them are satire. And the point is to mock poor logic. So if you use logic for one player and I'm like, oh, okay, well, since you think like this, then this should apply in the same context. And then they're like, oh, this is a dumb post. And in reality, you're arguing with yourself at that point because I'm using your logic against you. So it's like, it's kind of a combination. It's never really intended to like.
No, bro, that's exactly what we do here. Like you said, they expose it themselves. And they do it all the time. They don't see it, bro. They don't realize that one logic should apply across the board, but for them, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's crazy. It is literally crazy. So your last famous post was the fact that you put up that LeBron won every level on every team he's played on, and obviously people are upset. They are literally upset about that. Tell us some crazy things you heard as far as in the comments, or you read in the comments about that particular idea that LeBron actually has more championships than Jordan if we count all the high school everything. Especially when we talk about who led their team to championships.
Okay, so the thing is, I feel like that all started basically with somebody essentially saying that it was more impressive that Jordan won a national championship in college, and then LeBron was, losing in the NBA. And because they were like, oh, he won a championship. And I was like, okay, well, that's because Jordan wasn't good enough at the time to go straight to the NBA. And there's a bunch of rebuttals for that. But basically the whole reasoning behind that is because UCLA didn't want him. Virginia didn't want him. So these are two top D1 schools, and if you're getting essentially ignored or rejected by Division One schools, you're not ready for the NBA. So they were like, "Oh yeah, well he's winning championships in college," and I'm like, and they were like, "Oh, LeBron's missing the playoffs," and I'm like, "Okay, well the NBA level is higher than the college level, like regardless of what your achievements are in college." So I'm like, "Okay, well if we're gonna include everything, well let's talk about everything. Let's talk about their whole body of work and winning. Let's talk about every level that they've won at." And when you became a great player. Because I feel like if you're having a GOAT debate, I mean, you can either talk about the NBA and restrict it to those, years in your career, or you can talk about your body of work as a basketball player, the same way they do when they're inducting you to the Basketball Hall of Fame. What are your contributions to basketball? So I'm just looking at it in a bigger scope, like, Olympics. Okay, what did you do? And the NBA, what did you do? Every team you've been on, you've won on every team. Like that's the difference I think between them is that every time LeBron's either been on a team or changed teams, the expectation was always winning. And I feel like with Jordan, his fans, especially in hindsight, give him a bunch of, excuses as to why he didn't win. It's always, oh, he was old or he was injured. And I'm like, well, you hold LeBron to those same expectations when he's hurt or injured. Like the whole foot thing, they're like, oh, what happened to his mysterious foot injury? And I'm like, okay, so when it's LeBron and he's playing through an injury, you don't give him that benefit of the doubt. But with Jordan, playing with the Wizards, you give him excuses. Or, when he came back mid-season, you give him excuses. Oh, he only played 17 games. And it's like, okay, but we gave him props for dropping the double nickel game. Like we give him a whole bunch of props for all this stuff, and then we turn around and use that same thing as an excuse.
Yeah, you dropped it on that one. Go ahead, Brandon. You was gonna say something?
No, I was just saying that basically how we're basically talking to Jordan fans. We're not talking about Jordan. Like that's the thing. We're saying things that they say, just like when like Cam posted that, I like made a graph of it because that was fucking genius. So they was pissed off at that because I said who led teams to finals, and we all know Michael Jordan didn't lead UNC to the title. Like it's pretty obvious that Michael Jordan did. So they're upset about that because Jordan won a national title. Like that's cool. We all know Michael Jordan won a national title, but I said who led teams to titles? Like it's nothing wrong with like Michael Jordan, what he did in North Carolina. He was great in North Carolina. He's player of the year, third pick in the draft, but he didn't lead them to a title. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Michael Jordan didn't lead them to the title. It's great. But LeBron has led more of his teams to, titles, which is funny because what Michael Jordan led the Bulls. And I just put he led both of the Olympic teams to titles, which he did. When you look at even though Charles Brock was probably the leading scorer on the '92 team, but the team went by Jordan. Then when you go with LeBron, he got his high school, he got his NBA, he got the Olympics as well. So I put Michael Jordan had one less teams led to titles, and they get upset because that's Jordan fans for you. I put up polls all the time in the highlight groups who had which title means more, Michael Jordan college title or LeBron James 2020 title. Of course, majority of them picked Jordan's title because the Jordan fans are delusional as hell. So I'm putting up all these polls, and they're like, Brandon, you're getting exposed again. Like, no, I'm making sure I let everybody know how delusional y'all are because you're saying that 6-0 is better than 11-1.
Oh my God, that's in the what's it called group? Again, they kicked me out of that group again.
Yeah, they keep kicking you out of the group. It's probably that Simon Ross dude, but and then I added today who had the better high school career, Kareem, Michael Jordan, or LeBron. I'm pretty sure a majority of them going to pick Jordan because Jordan fans are the most delusional fans that you ever found on planet Earth. And we're going to have a nice show about how delusional they are because they don't know basketball. Majority of them don't even know that LeBron James won gold medals. They say, how you say LeBron won 2 gold medals when he only won like 3 bronze? Like, that's how delusional they are. They don't watch basketball. They say ridiculous things constantly. They always calling me on Facebook and sending me messages. They're just weird individuals. I don't even know if both of them even seen Michael Jordan play.
They haven't. We'd all said that. We all agreed to that. Even people who are my age have rarely saw Michael Jordan play, unless you lived in Chicago, unless you lived in where you from, Brandon and Gary. I mean, but look at it now. They're already asking Cam how old he is. What does it matter how old Cam is? He's obviously speaking with some kind of logic and intelligence and rationale. He could have been 12.
Yeah, so the problem with that, because I get that a lot. Like, I don't hide. I mean, I'm not under like a fake profile. And like, people can see my face. I look damn near 17. So I'm 26. And so the rebuttal is always, oh, you're too young to see Michael Jordan. Okay, that's a fair point. But the problem is, majority of the fans that are talking about basketball fall between a certain age demographic. There's nobody really in these groups above like 50. I mean, I'm sure we can say that.
No,
So,
but Cam, they say people who are 40 are too young to talk about Jordan as well. So
I'm gonna get that. So look, so yeah, basically, if you under 40, I mean, do the math. I mean, how old were you by 96? If you like, because okay, I got like 35, year olds saying, "Oh, you're too young to see." I'm like, bro, you're 35. How old were you in 97? Like 98 during his last title run? Like you weren't watching his prime as a competent basketball fan. You were watching as a little kid who's gonna remember, like, the big moments and stuff. Like you're not remembering stuff from 40 years ago.
Listen,
But aside from that,
I said the same thing on my show because the guy came
I
on
was
my show.
15 years old in 98.
There was a guy that came on my show but told me he was born 1988 and said that he don't like LeBron fans because they never saw Michael Jordan. I said, bro, you never saw Michael Jordan. You were born 1988. You were born 1988.
And what they don't realize is that as a 10-year-old, you didn't see anything that I can't see. Like you weren't religious. I mean, look, if we being honest, I made a poll about it, and I didn't include Jordan or LeBron. I just said, how old are y'all, most of y'all in these groups? And a lot of the demographic was between 25 and 35, which is expected. I'm like, you guys didn't see him. But even aside from that, let's forget the whole age thing for the guys who saying, they're old enough, they watch Jordan, they watch LeBron. Okay, that's fair. But the thing is, you're calling Jordan the greatest of all time. So if you're going to use the age argument and say, oh, well, you were too young to see so-and-so, let's say you're 50. How old were you when, the older guys were playing, like the guys that came before Jordan, before the whole GOAT marketing thing started? You haven't seen all of basketball. So if you're going to attack people for their age and say, oh, you haven't seen Jordan, so you can't speak on the GOAT. Okay, well, you haven't seen Wilt. You haven't seen Kareem. Like, you didn't see these guys that played before him. And let's use Michael Jordan's own words. Yeah, let's use his own words. He said it's disrespectful to the legends that played before him to call him the GOAT. So he didn't call himself that.
It's like I was saying, man. In 1998, I was 14, about to be 50. Even on WGN, because it would come on late at night. You'd have to go to bed, or your daddy didn't want to watch Michael Jordan, so you had to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't really watch Jordan unless if they were allowed to watch it.
That's because you're from Tennessee, right? You're from Tennessee, right?
Kentucky.
Kentucky has WGN as well, right? That's available in your region, right? Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm from Miami.
Like I had it, and I didn't get to watch every game that he played, because it would either be either have to do homework, or it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night and it's time for bed.
Now I would say this though, I do believe there was a point in time,
unless you were in your 20s at that time, and even then you're still Jordan every game.
No, I believe there was a point in time in the 90s though, WGN became a cable available network, so that anybody can get it no matter what region. I believe WGN became like the first national regional channel because of the Chicago Bulls. If I'm correct, that's when people started realizing if they create their own networks like MSG or Yes Channel, that they can get an extra revenue for their teams. So, but what's good, Ralph? I see Chad's here too. What up, Chad?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. We were talking the Lakers originally. We bought Cam in. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cam. Cam is a superstar of today. Shout out to Cam. He does his thing. The young man just dropped some knowledge for us, y'all. Again, this is what we do in GOAT James Kingdom. We talk basketball, and he's one of the best exposers in our Facebook group. But we got Chad and Ralph here, so we want you guys' take on the Lakers. We'll start with you, Chad. what do you think about the Lakers' prediction this year? What are their odds winning a championship? What do you think about the Lakers as far as their roster and going into the new season? Chad. Yeah, I can hear him. Or is it me?
I can't hear anything from him. Oh,
you not hear me?
Oh, okay, we
there
can
we
now.
go.
We can hear you now.
What was the question?
The Lakers. We're talking about the Lakers and the prediction of the Lakers. What do you think about their chances this year? Are they title contenders? What are your your ideas of the odds of the Lakers going into this new season?
Well, I mean, of course, I am a fan of LeBron. I want to hope that they go to the finals, but I mean, it just really boils down to if LeBron and AD can stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, I don't see why they couldn't make it to the finals.
So they just got to be healthy enough to be in the playoffs. That's what Brandon said. But can they make the playoffs if one of them is not healthy throughout the season?
I don't think so. I think LeBron is so old that he can't carry the burden through the whole season, and AD is too hit or miss for me to put any kind of stock into it.
I agree with you on AD. I don't have AD in my top 10, but what do you think of that, Ralph? What do you think of the Lakers' odds this year, man? They did a good job during the trade deadline. They re-signed some players during the offseason. They got some new players during the offseason. What do you think the Lakers' odds are in winning and in general and all of that?
I think the Lakers did some good moves and everything. My thing is, it's like if you have an AD playing that center position, he's gonna take a lot of beating, and that's gonna play a role in his health. So I felt like getting Hayes was a good move, but I felt like putting AD at that power forward position will put you in a better position. Look at 2020. He was able to play longer when he was at that power forward when they had Dwight and they had JaVale McGee. Did he play some center? Very, very rarely, but if you have him playing more center than power forward, it's going to take a lot of toll on his body, and and I agree with Brandon. It's going to take with health. Health is going to I always say the healthier the team, that's the top teams, is the ones that's going to win.
That's it for the Lakers then.
I agree with you, Ralph, but Anthony Davis doesn't like to play center. So, I mean, that's where you got a good point there. He don't like to play it, and if he does, he's going to take that beat.
The geriatric Lakers. I don't know about that.
Okay, also him playing center takes away from his game as well because he's not allowed to roam and do the things he want to do on the defensive end as well.
That's why
I felt like even at center last year, he did play very well on the defensive end. Like he was one of the top defenders last year in my eyes. But I think I agree though. If he's at that power forward position, he can be even better at on the defensive end.
But they already agreed that he won't be playing center, right?
Yeah, that's apparently this year. That's why they got two big men for him.
Right, because
they need to bring back Dwight.
Yeah, but they said he doesn't want to, and Ham said, "Yeah, I agree. We're not going to use him that much at center."
I know they got what you call it from New Orleans. Who's the other center?
Yeah, Hayes, and then they got
and Christian Wood.
Christian Woods.
Oh, Christian Wood.
Even though he's not a real center, but he's another big man.
And then they got a
rookie. What do y'all think about
they got a rookie big man.
Okay.
Well, I mean, AD doesn't want to. So if he doesn't want to, I don't like it. If he doesn't like the idea of being a center, I wouldn't want him to be the center.
I think he just doesn't like defending other centers because offensively at center, he looks elite. Like he's a mismatch for a lot of centers. I feel like if you put him
the man lies about his height, so he doesn't be called a center. The man's 7 foot tall, but he says he's 6'11" because he doesn't like the center position. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't like it, but watch him up against other centers. Like he's a walking mismatch. I feel like he just doesn't like to guard other centers. He has trouble guarding other big guys. But I don't know. I mean, I like him at power forward, like you said, because he wants to play it. But if you're putting him on the outside, like stretching the floor more with AD, I feel like you kind of take away from his game offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because again, the game is kind of a little bit different. There's not too many people that bangs, in the paint, but I do think it does. I don't think he likes guarding bigger centers, and there's still some big guys in the league. There's still some good.
Probably like 5 at the most.
Yeah,
I don't think it's 5.
But Cam, what is your team, Cam? What is your team that you root for, so we can know that? And then what do you think of the Lakers' odds this year?
Yeah, I'm a Miami Heat fan.
This guy's just the best right there. Let's go, Heat, baby.
Yeah, man. I was definitely surprised. Last year they overachieved. I just realistically, I didn't have them beating Denver. I just felt like Denver was a powerhouse last year. People don't give them enough credit.
Yeah, they keep making the playoffs.
Yeah, but as far as the Lakers, the problem with Denver next year though is going to be they're the only team I feel like in the West that didn't really get better. Like one of the top teams, they lost. What is it? Bruce Brown.
They lost Bruce Brown. Yes. And they didn't add anyone. They didn't add anybody. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't make any like major moves. But as far as the Lakers, they're gonna be good. I think like everybody's been saying. I mean, I'm kind of along with y'all. Like as long as they get to the playoffs after that, as long as everybody's healthy, they have a deep squad. Like I know people love to be like, oh, the Lakers this and that. Like they don't really want to give them props. But if it was any other team, they would be giving them credit. They made a lot of good moves this year. So. I think they had a lot of depth.
Yeah, you know what's funny? They I guess in the ranking they had Golden State above the Lakers. Like, what did y'all watch last year? Like, what did y'all watch last year to even make that?
They were watching the greatest point guard of all time.
Well, Chris Paul I think Chris Paul is a great addition to the Warriors. That's the reason why I can understand. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. Go ahead, Rob.
I mean, they're like even smaller. I guess what the Lakers did was made Steph Curry play point guard, and I've been saying this for years. Steph Curry cannot play point guard. It takes away from his game completely. So he was averaging like 20 points a game at the most because he couldn't get his shot off, couldn't run around screens. Draymond Green needs to run that offense so Steph Curry can get off. That's why I always say Steph Curry is not a top point guard because he cannot run a team and be successful.
How can you be called the greatest point guard of all time when LeBron averages and totals more assists than Steph Curry?
So, no, that's a good point. I mean, Curry his strength has always been like he's just one of the best off-ball players. Well, then like running around screen things like that.
Right.
But I don't think like he's not built for the point guard because he doesn't want to be the focal point of the defense. Because they're focusing on him. Nobody else on that team is really going to consistently create their own shot, and like their ball movement has to be their thing. I think it really depends on, again, their health and like who steps up scoring. Like obviously Jordan Poole was a massive disaster for them before they unloaded him. If Chris Paul plays and he's at his level like he was in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and if he's healthy, then they're going to be an issue. But
yeah.
We'll really see just what happens like with everyone who's playing at the best level, like when the playoffs start to roll around. Lakers are stacked. I mean, Lakers, they have a good roster. We'll see. I think it's going to be between them and the Nuggets, maybe Phoenix. But who knows? It's a long season. Anything can happen.
I got a question. Do anybody in here have Steph Curry a top 5 point guard of all time?
I do. Yeah.
I do.
Why?
Who said that?
Cam said that.
Cam does. Cam and Ralph.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't have any stuff.
Go ahead, Ralph. Why, Ralph?
Well, like when I look at that point guard position, especially like now, the point guard position is played different than what it was back then. And like like Steph Curry, you got Kyrie, those type of point guards are scoring point guards, and what Steph was able to do within his career and how the way he translated the game and everything, that's what really, and what he was able to accomplish, that's what put him at the top 5 for me.
So Ralph, you said that the point guards play different. Which point guard does not run their offense on their team other than Steph Curry?
You got Kyrie that does it.
Kyrie runs the offense. He ran the offense many years. He's not running it now because he's playing with Luka.
Not like the point guard that like
Boston before LeBron. Like he ran the offense.
No, he was more of a scoring point guard.
But he ran the offense while scoring though. Like Dame Lillard, he runs the offense while scoring. Trae Young runs the offense while scoring. Steph Curry does not do that at all.
I see where you're going with it.
No, but so my question to you is, Ralph. So is Stephen Curry a top 5 point guard because he is listed as a point guard, or because of his ability as a point guard? That's my question.
Because he's listed. He's listed as the point guard. I mean,
so what about Jerry West? So then why can't Jerry West be top 5? Because he's listed as a point guard as well.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you argue Jerry West,
Stephen Curry.
I mean, if you argue that Jerry West is a top 5 point guard, I mean, you won't get no pushback from me.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay, Ralph. Who is your top 5 point guards?
I haven't made a point guard position, but I do have Magic and Steph up there. I do have that.
Isaiah. Okay, Oscar.
Let me get that list, and I'm gonna get back with y'all.
Oh, come on, Rob. You gotta get off your dome. You gotta get off your dome.
No, I'm not doing it off the dome. No, we're not doing that. I've been on this show long enough to understand y'all too. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
All right,
you're not talking to a rookie right now on this show. Nah, we're not doing that.
All right, Cav, did you say Steph top 5 too?
No, he's not.
I think Steph is top 5. I think that
you say Cam or Chad?
No, I said Cam. My bad.
Cam.
Yeah, Cam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think in today's game, like you said before, is because he's listed as a point guard, and I feel like that applies in today's game more so than it applied when Jerry West, because his era, or the era that he's playing in, is positionless basketball, and I feel like it's with a lot of players who do different things and affect the game in different ways. You have to classify somebody as something. Like Tim Duncan, for example. If we classify him as a center, he's not top 3. I mean, you can keep on going down the list. You got Shaq, you got Wilt, you got there's so many names. So we classify him as a power forward so we can give him the proper recognition, I would assume. And it's the same way with Curry. It's like he's a great player. I mean, I don't think anybody's denying that.
He's a top 5 shooting guard before a point guard.
I can't list him as a shooting guard just because his role, I think he's still Draymond Green primarily, I guess, runs the offense, but I feel like Curry has his way of orchestrating the offense off the ball. So by creating attention for himself, going off screens and stuff, he's opening up the floor for his other players. Like Klay wouldn't get those same opportunities if you put a traditional point guard on the floor. I don't think so, because there's not that off-ball threat of Curry. There's not the attention on Curry. Let's say you take Curry out the lineup and you start Chris Paul with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson does not drop 37 in a quarter.
Yes.
That just doesn't happen without Curry.
Yes, he does.
Now, though, with the attention goes on.
He scored 60 on 4 dribbles.
The dribbles don't matter, though. The point is that
the reason he was
he didn't need no one, but he need nobody else.
He don't need nobody. You just said all you need somebody to be able to pass him the ball, and
Klay doesn't physically need anybody else. But the fact that there's attention on Curry opens up Klay's game.
No, I'm saying no. What Klay would need, what Klay would need is the same thing that Stephen would need to have the same impact in quote unquote gravity. Stephen Curry's going to need a screener and a passer. Klay Thompson's going to need a screener and a passer. Either way, they're going to score. Now, the difference between Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry that makes Stephen Curry the better player is that Klay Thompson cannot score off the dribble and create.
I agree with that.
Stephen can. So you have a more variety ways of scoring with Stephen Curry, but the notion of the off-ballness of what Stephen Curry does off the ball, you are Klay Thompson. It's the same thing. They cause the same gravity because they're just as deadly from them. You can't leave them open if they're running around getting screens for a 3-pointer. You cannot leave Klay Thompson open for a catch and shoot. That's what
I agree with that. But I'm not comparing Klay and Steph. I'm comparing Stephen Curry to another point guard. So I'm saying,
I want to ask you this, though. I get what you're saying there. But I want to ask you this: Is Stephen Curry with exactly what he does? Forget the positions, but for what he does, is he a better shooting guard with what he does, or a better point guard?
That's a good question. I think he's better at being a shooting guard. Like, for example, if you were to put him primarily as a shooting guard for his career, I think he's more impactful. If you put him alongside a pass first traditional point guard, I feel like he's more impactful because that's his role in the offense. But I think in that role, he creates offense for other players. So Klay Thompson indirectly benefits from Stephen Curry's presence. I feel like Dre can, stand at the top, because a lot of times he's bringing the ball up or he's standing at the top of the key and he's directing traffic, but Curry's movement creates so much attention. So, like, for example, I don't think Stephen Curry is a great passer. And I feel like a lot of times when we see, guys with high assist numbers like 7, 8 assists, we like, oh, they're good passers. They're not good passers. They're great offensive players, and they create so much attention that they get other people open, like James Harden. When James Harden was averaging 10 assists a game, it wasn't because he's a great passer. It's just because he's so dominant offensively that other guys just magically get open because there's so much attention on you. And I feel like that's what Stephen Curry does. He draws so much attention off the ball, and his movement is what opens guys up like Klay, like KD. KD was able to just jump into offense and just score like seamlessly. That's not going to happen with every player. And the reason it happened with him is because Stephen Curry's effect. That offense is catered around him. Dre runs the offense, but that is Stephen Curry's offense.
I guess that's what we've been saying, that, he's not the point guard because of that. Like you say, he won, like Klay wouldn't score 35 points if Steph wasn't like there. But if Steph Curry was the point guard, Klay Thompson may not have scored those 37 points because Steph won't be able to get him the ball because he's not able to run the offense effectively. Like I've been saying this, and we've seen that in the playoffs when the Lakers made Steph Curry a point guard. You saw his value decrease as a basketball player on the court. He was not able to get his shot. He wasn't able to do a lot of things that we thought a point guard should be able to do.
Yeah, Ralph, the same question applies to you, Ralph. With what we know Stephen Curry does on the basketball court, would you say he's a better shooting guard or a better point guard? Because you got him top 5 as a point guard, but we know he's really good as a shooting guard. So is he a better shooting guard than a point guard?
Ralph still there?
Yeah, he's there. He's
thinking. Yeah, I'm here. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm still here. This ain't the TikTok lives. You got to be able to use your brain. I appreciate it, Ralph. Thank you, brother. What's good, man? Let's go.
I think more of a. Dang, that's a good question. That's a real good question.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is GOAT James Kingdom, baby.
I think maybe more of a shooting guard. Value, more of a shooting guard.
No, for what he does, what he actually does on the basketball court, for his production, what he does, would you say he's a better shooting guard than he is as a point guard?
Shooting guard.
So my question is, because the reason I asked that is because, if he's top 5 point guard for y'all, what would that make him as a top 5 shooting guard? Would that make him a top 5 shooting guard?
I think so. I mean, but the better question, I'm gonna get to that, but the better question is, what does everybody consider a point guard? And I feel like the easy answer is, a guy who facilitates, but I'm not talking about the traditional old school definition of a point guard. I'm not talking about the Rajon Rondos of the world. I'm talking about in the 2020s, what is the point guard? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of times when people say traditional point guard, that's just a fancy way of saying somebody who's a great passer and can't score. And I feel like once we start to redefine that and tell people what a point guard is in today's game, the simple answer is I don't know. Ben Simmons is a point guard and he's 6'10". LeBron is a point guard, he's 6'9". Stephen Curry is a point guard and he's a scorer. Like, there's so many different aspects of being a point guard. Then you got Tyrese Halliburton averaging 20.
I think the thing that most people say is someone who runs the offense. That's what the point guard is supposed to do.
What does that mean?
A ball facilitator, somebody who creates
the one that brings the ball up the court and puts the offense in place.
And sets the offense.
Yeah, that's basically what a point guard has always been. And like you said, like, it's different today, but all the players that you name outside of Steph Curry does that.
Right. I think with Curry is that he has the luxury of a Draymond
easier a top 5 shooting guard than a top 5 point guard.
No, I think I agree with you there, Chad. I agree. He would be more likely a top 5 shooting guard than a top 5. I would have him top 10 shooting guard easily. I don't even know about top 10 point guard. But I think the thing about the positionless basketball that we have to understand is that when we say positionless, it means that you can't, just because you're 6'9" doesn't mean you can't beat the point guard. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like that's what it was before. Like the thing against Magic was your point guard has to dribble a lot, right? So you want him closer to the floor. You want a short guy that has short dribbles, quick, right? You want to get to your possessions faster, right? So that was the idea of a point guard, and that's what they stay traditional to. That's the traditional idea. There's traditional size, ability, agility that a point guard needs to have. But the difference is that you can still have a LeBron James be your point guard as your small forward, or you know what I'm saying, and have other guys do other roles. Your center doesn't necessarily have to just be a rebounder. He can be a joker. He can be a ball facilitator. So that's what the positionless basketball means to me, is that just because you are a center, that doesn't mean you're restricted to the center role. You can actually play outside of your role. Just because you're Stephen Curry as a point guard, you don't have to necessarily be the guy who ball facilitates. You can still be the scorer and be a great scorer at that. The thing is that yeah, go ahead, Ralph.
And his playmaking ability is very it's top notch. So that's another notch in his belt to where, as a point guard as well.
That was an argument that I got on TikTok with live last night. I was telling Brandon that I don't see how Stephen Curry's considered a playmaker because of his off-ball movement. I think people confuse off-ball movement as playmaking ability, and it's not. But again, we had to talk about the word gravity because that was something that people like to bring up. Brandon, have you ever heard of the term gravity while you was playing basketball?
Not really.
Okay, because I told him I've never heard that term before. It's a new term to me. I don't know why gravity is a big logic, but Ralph knows because he's on TikTok. It's a big thing on TikTok. Shout out to Crash. Crash comes on Friday Night Exposure. He brings it up. He loves Stephen Curry. Bring it up, Ralph. What makes Stephen Curry a great playmaker because of that gravity talk? I know that's what it's going to be about.
The gravity, when you say like the gravity of Steph Curry, it's like, the tension, like Kim was saying earlier, the tension that he creates, like from the defense that he gets to where's your main focus, like when it comes to the offense, it's a lot of focus on him. So it does free up other players to be able to score at an easy rate, like Klay Thompson, when players cut to the basket, such as Andrew Wiggins, or back then when Harrison Barnes was playing, when they ran with how the offense is orchestrated around Steph, that's where his gravity comes into play.
Okay, and you agree with that, right, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, when you draw attention on offense, that inadvertently creates opportunities for your teammates. And I don't feel like you have to necessarily be the person passing them the ball to create that opportunity. I feel like, because we see it with LeBron. I mean, we're being honest, LeBron's at the top of the key. There's 5 guys guarding him. Not in a literal sense, but there's 5 sets of eyes on him.
5 eyes, exactly. The eyes.
And that's the Stephen Curry effect. And that's where his playmaking because I feel like playmaking isn't necessarily passing. Playmaking is creating scoring opportunities. So by him moving around the court, he's creating scoring opportunities for every single player on the court. Draymond Green is a wonderful, point guard or, facilitator or playmaker, but his opportunities come out of Stephen Curry. People are literally leaving him open, and his man is guarding Stephen Curry at times.
So why weren't they successful without Klay Thompson?
You said why weren't they successful when what?
Without Klay Thompson.
I mean, that's just, you can ask the same question about any team. You take away their second best player, why aren't they successful? I feel like it's a flawed question.
No,
right, hold on. But Chad, hold on.
No. Y'all over talking about gravity and how it makes everybody else's opportunities easier. How does Klay, how could they not be as successful without it?
Because let's take your replacement.
I mean, the Bulls were even successful without Jordan.
Right.
65 games won. That's pretty good.
It depends what you mean by success. It depends what you mean by success, but for me, the reason I feel like it's flawed.
Let him talk, Chad. Let him go. Go ahead, Cam.
No, I mean the reason I feel like the question's flawed is because you take away Klay Thompson, who's undeniably the second best player. So when I say elevating your teammates, if you're elevating a C level player to a B, that still might not be enough to win. But Klay Thompson is a top, like in his prime, he's a top shooting guard in the league. I'm sure nobody disagree with that. So if you're elevating him, that's a championship caliber team. If you're elevating his replacement, you might not make the playoffs. That's not an indictment on Stephen Curry. I feel like it's just basketball.
I think Klay Thompson gets a bad rep because Stephen Curry gets a lot more praise than need be. But Brandon, let me get your take on it. What do you think about him being a playmaker? Does that make is that what you call a playmaker? Somebody that draws like like they said, the attention as far as eyes go?
Of course not, because Kobe and Jordan draw everybody to them. But Chad, I didn't even think about that, but that's an amazing ass point that we're saying that he opened up a lot of stuff for his team. That's why he's a playmaker. But when Klay wasn't there, which is is one of the reasons why Steph Curry is open a lot, they didn't make the playoffs.
Oh,
you can't really debate that.
I said the same thing. Travis, what do you think?
Is
Stephen Curry a playmaker due to, now mind you, I think Stephen Curry is a playmaker because of his great dribbling skills and the fact that he's a good passer. He's not a great passer like Cam said, but he's a good passer.
I don't think he's a great playmaker. I think he's a great scorer.
No, I said a great playmaker. I would say that he is a playmaker, meaning that he's serviceable. You can put him in that position. He's just not great at it. What do you think, Travis? Is Stephen Curry a great playmaker due to what they call quote unquote gravity? And are you familiar with gravity? Is that something that you've heard before? Because again, this is something new to me. I haven't heard it until TikTok.
No, yeah, that term's been around a while. I mean,
they used to say about Jordan in the 80s.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole gravity thing. I mean, some of the better examples of that would be like, Shaq in the early 2000s. He had, I mean, if you want to say gravity, like you had literally entire game plans around stopping one guy. They were going to take their chances with the outside shooting because, otherwise it's going to be a guy dropping 40 on you at a 65% clip. And so I feel like Stephen Curry is the same way, but just like in the perimeter. When you have, it's to a different degree, but yeah, when you have a defense that's going to be tailor made towards stopping primarily one guy, that's like Cam said, perfectly said, it's going to create opportunities for other guys. And it's going to some degree, it's going to elevate their game, at least statistically, because they're going to get better opportunities and better looks because you're not going to have 5 different guys who can consistently create their own shot when the scheme is going to make sure that one or more of them is open because you're going to get consistent doubles and whatever else on traps on one guy. Is he like the best playmaker? No, for sure. I mean, I think he's serviceable, like you said. He's going to get his numbers, and he's good at hitting the open guy and recognizing his core vision is pretty good. I don't think he's the best passer ever, but as far as like the grab, like you said, I think if he were technically listed as that shooting guard, then it's an entirely different conversation. I think he's better suited for that. But as far as like the gravity thing, like Cam said again, it's just like when you're elevating, like when there's a lot of focus on one guy, then that's what it means. It's like all people on the floor are always, like you said, the LeBron, like on top of the key, you're going to have the eyes on him so they can react according to what he does. And that's the same way it is with Curry. And it has been ever since he became arguably like the best marksman in the history of the game.
So I have a question. Would you guys say that Steph Curry is a better point guard than LeBron James?
No. In the sense of being a traditional point guard, no, because LeBron has a better court vision.
No, as you put into his Stephen Curry in the top 5 point guard list of all time, this is LeBron James. Brandon asked a simple question. Don't start doing the traditional point guard nonsense. Tell us, show us.
What you think, Ralph?
I mean, I think he's better at being a point guard than Curry. I mean, he's better at running an offense than Curry.
So if LeBron was listed as a point guard his whole career, he would be a top 5 point guard?
Sure.
Cam?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, to answer the first question, yes, LeBron James is a better point guard than Stephen Curry. He's just not listed as one. So but that's more so the gap. That just shows us the gap between LeBron and Stephen Curry, and pretty much LeBron in the field is because he's so much better at something he does second. Like he's a passer, he's a top passer, he's a top scorer, and then you put that together, he's a top playmaker. So I feel like that it just more illustrates the gap between him and Curry. But to go back to your initial question, as far as why is Curry a top 5 point guard, just going by listed positions, because I mean you can classify LeBron as whatever, he's the greatest player ever to me. But if you're saying why is Stephen Curry a top 5 point guard, I think everything is in totality. So it's not, once we start to separate things and talk about different topics, it's easier to like bring him down and put him lower because, oh, well, does he play make? Or what about with Steph, like without Klay Thompson? I feel like in totality, Stephen Curry is, for his position, he's top 5 at his position.
I got you.
Cam, I'm going to need you to like stop being well spoken and stop dropping facts.
First off,
I want to get their perspective on why Stephen Curry isn't, as opposed to me explaining why he is, because I feel like when I look, I hate the eye test thing, but I just think he's a great basketball player. He's listed as a point guard, and by extension, he's a top 5 point guard.
Well, I don't think none of us think that he's not a great player. Like, we all probably have him in the top 15 or close to it. Like,
he's in my top 10.
Yeah, we think he's a great player, but what we're talking about point guards is different because he doesn't, like, he's the only player in the league who listed as a point guard who doesn't really play a point guard position. But I think that's just like how the like general public view Steph Curry. Like, we all know that he's like he could be the best player in the league, but we wouldn't say he's the best point guard in the league, like just like that.
Yeah, no, I think Brandon and I are both agree the same that we just don't think he's actually a point guard, even though he's listed as a point guard. We just don't think he is a point guard. We think I see him as a shooting guard. And to be technical with you guys, I think he's not even the best point guard on his team. So that's like why I wouldn't have him top 5. Now, if you were to talk about him being a top 5 shooting guard, we can have that conversation. He's one of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest shooters of all time, if not the greatest shooter of all time. As a shooting guard, without a doubt, Stephen Curry. That's what I'm saying. He's still a great player. He's still a great player.
The only thing I would add to that, Johnny, is that. Oh, sorry. The only thing I would add to that is that I think this is the point that Cam and I were probably trying to make a little bit. Is like he's the same shooting guard in the same way that, not a perfect example, but Oscar Robertson is like obviously arguably a top 5.
Stephen Curry is just like Jerry West. No one considers Jerry West to be a point guard because of Jerry West's shooting and scoring ability. Nobody believes that he was listed as a point guard. Everybody thinks he's a shooting guard, and that's the same thing with Curry.
That's what I thought.
Now Ralph. Oh, real quick, Cam. Don't worry about.
I love the Jerry West talk, man.
Don't worry about Travis, Cam. He's just mad because your mic is louder than his. So
yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what the hell?
Pause. But Ralph, you were saying something about Stephen Curry being number 4. So again, will LeBron James be top? Would he be top 5 if he was listed as a point guard his whole career?
If I had him at point guard, I would probably have him at 2.
Number 2.
If I put him.
For me, like I LeBron is, to me, is the greatest point guard of all time. He's the greatest point forward of all time. He's the greatest small forward of all time. The reason that LeBron James
point guard to Brandon LeBron is a point guard.
I've always said LeBron's a point guard. The reason LeBron does not average more than 10 assists a game because he averaged 27 points a game.
Right.
That's why he doesn't average more than 10 assists a game.
Okay, so I see what Brandon's point is. So you're viewing it a little bit differently than I am. I agree with what you're saying, by the way, but I view it more as how good are you as a player, and then what position do you play, and that's where I rank you based on that. I think you're viewing it more so based on how good are you at being what you're listed as, if that makes sense. You're good at being a point guard based on what a point guard has done traditionally. I'm viewing it as how good of a basketball player are you, and what position do you play.
That's what it is with Steph Curry, because like you said, like he could be the best player in the league, but a lot of people wouldn't say he's the best point guard because they don't view him as a point guard, but he's listed as a point guard, so he should be the best point guard.
Cam is who's a better point guard, John Stockton, Steph Curry?
It depends what your question is. So, are you more in line with what Brandon was saying as far as at playing point guard, at being a facilitator, at the traditional what a point guard is considered?
Yes.
Then I would say John Stockton. But I do think that y'all probably have seen it. I definitely. You said Jason Kidd?
Yeah.
I guess we quick firing on the answers. So Stephen Curry is not a Stephen Curry is not a traditional point guard. So you can list off a bunch of traditional point guards, and Stephen Curry will not be better at playing point guard than those players. No.
Okay, so he's not top
is
five.
he a better point guard than them?
No,
then yes.
no. But again, he gave you a different criteria, Chad. He's not going off of the traditional.
Yeah, he's top five for him in his mind. From him, that's basically what he's saying.
But let's do this, right? Because there are only a handful of scoring point guards like a Stephen Curry. So let's just list those guys off the top. So we have Stephen Curry, right? We have Oscar Robinson.
Yep.
We have Jerry West.
Yep.
Damian Lillard.
Yep.
AI.
Chris Paul. Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson's
he was listed as a point guard when he come in though.
I do agree with you there. So that's what I'm saying. So Iverson, that's it. So because Iverson is a scorer, but he's really a good facilitator. He can play point guard. That's
Iverson averaged more assists than Steph, right?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so neither. I don't think so. I don't believe he did, but because Steph averages 6 assists. So, but let's look it up. But I'm just okay. So all right. So let's just add Allen Iverson. So we have Allen Iverson. What other top scoring?
No, they actually average the same.
I'll say 6.2, the same. So
probably some Chris Paul out there.
Chris Paul's
not really a scorer.
For a short time, he was
in his career. He was earlier in his career.
He was deadly. Like I said earlier, his career, and when he wants to, but. I don't know.
I would never say Chris Paul was a scorer, though.
Nate Archibald.
I wouldn't say that. Nate Archibald. We got Russell Westbrook. That's a good one. Thanks, Chris. We got
Russ.
We got
late 80s.
James Harden.
Is James Harden a point guard?
He played point guard.
When he averaged that 36 points a game, he was a point guard.
He was.
Late 80s
point guard.
He does have 2 assist titles and 3 scoring titles.
So to be honest, James Harden always been a point guard. Even with
a point guard that 36-point season.
Yeah.
You could say, you could say
scoring one. So I mean,
you could say
go ahead, Travis.
Oh, sorry. You could say late 80s Magic, like when he became the first option out of necessity.
Penny Hardaway's a good option too. Yeah, Penny. Stephon Marbury, Steve Franchise.
Yep.
Franchise. Oh God. Yep.
So that's not that many.
Dylan Brooks was pretty mean early in his career too.
Dylan Brooks. Ooh.
Dylan
Brooks. Devin Williams. My bad.
Darren Williams.
Oh yeah, Darren Williams.
Darren Williams. Yeah, Darren Williams.
I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, man. He was trying to tell me that he wasn't the top point guard in his prime. He was.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas was a scoring point guard. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, we don't call him out.
Yeah, we haven't called. Yeah, I mean, so again, I guess Stephen Curry again. Stephen Curry is not a point guard. I mean, he does have the skills to be a point guard. We just all agree it's not as great as his scoring. And I guess this is my thing. For me, playmaking is dribble ability, right, which is your ball handling skills, your passing and screening. Those are the playmaking aspects of basketball. No matter how much any one of these guys run around, somebody has to set screens for you. That's how you're actually getting open. That's why you have the gravity, because someone is setting a screen to get you open. And the team has to pay attention to when you're open. And not only that, you have to put the pressure on the ball handler so that he can't make the right pass. Because like Brandon said, if I can't get you the ball, doesn't matter how much you're running around and you're open. If I don't get you the ball in the right spot, right where you need it at for you to get a quick shot off, it doesn't work. So at the end of the day, it's passing, screening, and dribbling. That's what I consider playmaking. So that's why I got into a lot of TikTok trouble yesterday, because they couldn't understand that. And then they tried to show me a bunch of Stephen Curry plays while Huh? What happened? Oh, that was you screaming. They tried to show me a bunch of Stephen Curry plays with Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant on the floor, talking about the gravity Stephen Curry's pulling while those guys are on the floor. And they were ignoring every screen that was being placed on the basketball court. They were literally telling me, oh, I know this because of my eye test. I said, your eye test don't see a screen. This is why I don't trust your eyes. Look at the guy setting the screen. Look at this guy setting the screen.
That's a one-off type of situation, though. I mean, that's like arguably the most stacked team in history. I can say
a nightmare. That's what that was, a nightmare.
The best, I'd say the best facility.
There's no precedent to how you play defense against something like that. So for you to bring that up, that's what I was trying to say. Like, there's no precedent. How do you? Yes, of course, Stephen Curry has eyes on him. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. You got to watch him, of course. But still, he has to run around screens. If somebody's not setting a good screen, he's not getting open. If somebody's not getting him the pass right, he's not getting the ball. So the playmaking is not Stephen Curry running around. The playmaking is literally the other guys. But again, Stephen Curry is his stamina is great, right? So that helps him out. He can outrun anybody. So he can run all game long. So you gotta give him kudos for that. But I would tell you this: who's better, Reggie Miller or Stephen Curry off the ball?
Curry.
I don't know about that.
I'll
give you this. Look, if you anybody who disagrees,
I have to agree with Travis.
Yeah.
But anybody who disagrees, I'll ask them this question: how many players, right? Like, let's just say off the ball. How many players are commanding a box and one? The fact that you have to run a box and one on Stephen Curry,
you can't do it.
Lets me know that he's.
You couldn't do that against Reggie. You can't do it.
But that's what separates him, though.
But I'm saying, but Reggie caused teams to really go crazy because when Reggie was running around, and Ralph could attest to this, he was a problem. You could not leave Reggie open at all. Yeah. He was, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole push off against Mike. Everybody was saying he had to push off to get, but he was running around screens. And that's why Jordan didn't stick him. That's why you had to get somebody who could run around with him. And he was smart. He was a very savvy player. He knew.
Pippen didn't even guard Reggie because he ran around too damn much. Jordan wasn't going to run around all game with him. Like Reggie even said it. Like Jordan hated to guard him. Like every time Jordan was on him, he scored because he would run around 15 screens on one play, and Jordan was like, "I'm cool with that." Hamilton. It's like you would go ahead and guard that.
Ray Allen,
Allen the same way.
Kyle Korver, JJ Redick, all these guys. You know what I'm saying? Dennis Scott, Dale Curry, all these.
Like guys. You know they were good, but no offense ran like Reggie Miller offense. Like those guys got open, but Reggie Miller was the focal point of running around screens every single play. So your best player could never guard Reggie Miller. And Reggie Miller shot like 12, 15 times a game, but you're going to be exhausted chasing him around.
Yeah, and people used to wonder why they had Dale Davis and Anthony. What was it? What's the other Davis? They had the two Davis.
Antonio Davis, Aaron McKee, Dale Davis, Rick Smits.
They had all these big. Yeah, they had all these big front court guys. Guess why? Because those guys used to set screens all day long for Reggie Miller. That was why they got them for. And then they got Mike to make sure he gets the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I think what's a good thing too, Halsey, it's like there's very few. Like you said, kind of earlier, Johnny. There's very few players today who are just altering the game, like with their passing and vision. Like you said, it's just like it's a matter of like getting them open. I'd say the best facilitator, quote unquote, and passer right now is Joker. I mean, like he's literally, you got to watch him offensively, but like he's just so good. Like he probably has the best court vision of anyone in like the last 10 or 20 years that I've seen. And like, he can create shots at will. Like he's like guy you don't even see open. Like he's transcendent at that too. Well, as you said, like not really commanding like the same kind of gravity, but you have to watch him for like a variety of reasons.
The gravity word, gravity.
Yeah. And also getting back to the Reggie Miller and Steph thing, how you say who's better off the ball. I would say Steph because Reggie Miller needed to be almost completely wide open because he wasn't taking anyone off the dribble. If you get Steph Curry one-on-one, that's good enough. He's going to score if you get him one-on-one. But if you leave him wide open, he's a better shooter than Reggie Miller as well. But if you get him one-on-one, he's going to take you to the hole. He gets you off balance. Reggie couldn't get you off balance. Reggie barely even drove to the hole. So Steph Curry.
So Brandon, are there any better
did he ever dunk the basketball in the NBA?
He did a few times. But what did you say, Cam?
No, I was asking in your opinion because what I'm getting is that you don't classify Stephen Curry as a point guard. So, but I'm saying, are there any better scoring point guards than Stephen Curry?
Lillard.
All I can't.
Well, in like the regular season, there could be some, but when we're talking about scoring and winning, I mean, the only one you could put up there is Isaiah Thomas, and he's above Isaiah Thomas in that sense.
I say Pete Curry.
Well, you mean all time, Cam, or just in today's NBA?
No, all time. Because like me, for example, I got Zeke in my top 5. I got Magic in my top 5.
No,
I have Jerry West. In my top 5.
Oscar and Jerry West are better scorers than Stephen Curry.
Yep.
I wouldn't.
Don't start.
I wouldn't say that, but if they were great in that era, I understand. I'm not. Everyone, even I'm starting to listen to chat about Jerry West because everyone's been bringing up how great he is. Even Kobe is saying it, so I can't really hate. But I'm gonna still continue to say in his era, he was amazing. In his era, he was amazing.
Oh my God.
When I think of scorer, I think of somebody who scores from all 3 levels, right? And Curry scores at a high clip from all 3 levels. Like he's 40% from 3, he's 40 to 50% from mid range, and he's finishing 60% at the basket. I feel like you can't say that about any other point guard.
You can't Jerry West outside the 3-point line because he didn't have it. If he had it, he would be torching it.
Damon, I get you there. I think it would be hard if we consider Harden. All right, as what's it called? Westbrook a better scorer than Curry? No. Westbrook, no.
Steph Curry is a way more efficient scorer.
He's more efficient, that's for sure.
He's way more efficient.
Steph literally changed the way basketball is played.
He has. That his impact was another thing we talked about on Friday Night Exposure. We talked about how he has a great impact on the game. We know that. That's not even a denial. That's not a denial. But again, Brandon and I get called haters because they think it's because Stephen Curry and LeBron. But in reality, again, we just don't think he's a point guard. That's just it. We just don't think he's a point guard.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely not a hill that I would die on. Like, I don't really care. Like, just think, like Cam said, he's a phenomenal player. No matter how you slice it, it's just like because he weaponized the 3 ball, like more than whatever. Like before, it was just like a tool. Nobody was like, okay, cool. We don't have to draft around it. Yeah, but
I think Gilbert Arenas said it best the other day. He said when he joined the league, shooting a 3 off the dribble was considered a bad shot. It was considered a
it was taboo. Yeah.
It was taboo. Stephen Curry changed that. He actually said it was okay to shoot off the dribble from 3-point line. That's really.
It was still a big man's league in 2009 when he joined. But he's still the only one that could really do it like that. There's only very few that can actually shoot off the dribble like him. And even at that, they're not as efficient as him. You have Dame Lillard and Trae Young, and who else? Who else could really shoot like that off the dribble? That can hit the 3 just off the dribble. That's the thing. Like what you said,
it's not many.
It's his efficiency from there that makes him so ridiculous.
Jackson.
Yeah, and for me, like if I have 10 point guards that I think are better than Steph Curry as a point guard. I will have at least 5 shooting guards that I would say are better shooting guards than Steph Curry. But of those 15 players, Steph Curry's probably 4th of those 15 players, like third or 4th. Like that's how great Steph Curry is. I just can't list him as one of them because he's not either one. He's not a shooting guard and he's not a point guard. Like
he's a combo guard.
He's a different type of player. Like just like I can't really list him as a shooting guard or a point guard. He's just a different human being.
Yeah, he's just Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
That's why I would never have him on top.
You gotta dissect everybody's position. Like, okay, you have Curry, who's a quote unquote shooting guard who plays point guard. You got Kyrie, who's pretty much a shooting guard, but he plays point guard. You got Damian Lillard, he's a scoring point guard. Like you have combo. It's so much.
Yeah, they say a combo guard. I won't even put him as a combo guard. Like I won't even put Steph Curry as a combo guard because he doesn't play a combo guard. Like I know, like we saying, like the point guard position is different today, but all of those point guards run their offense. Steph Curry don't. He do not do that. Do
you think that's more because he can't, or more so because he was just blessed with Draymond Green? I think it's the latter.
If he had to strictly play point guard, I don't think he would have been as successful as he's been. If he had to be a point guard.
No Draymond Green, no Stephen Curry success, basically.
He wasn't very successful before Draymond got there, and he was running it before Draymond got there.
He wasn't that successful before Draymond.
That's what I said. He wasn't
not that many years
successful.
apart,
Oh,
though.
you said
I
he
mean,
wasn't
running
okay.
the
All
Well,
right.
they
Monty
I
actually
got
made
you.
the playoffs when
I
he
got you.
was with Mark Jackson.
I mean,
but
Because
Mark
Mark
Jackson's
Jackson had
system
him
was way
playing that
different,
point.
though.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
Trey
he made the
Young made
playoffs
the
during that
playoffs. We
time.
wouldn't say he's successful.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Stephen Curry's best season as far as being a point guard, if we want to talk about his passing ability, was 2014. He averaged 8.5 assists on 24 points per game, shooting 47% from the field and 42 from three-point land. Jesus Christ.
That's tough. And with volume, too.
Yeah, with volume. So, but that was 2014. I think that was the first time they made the playoffs, if I'm correct. Oh, 20.
Yeah.
They made the first time they made the playoffs was 2013. I'm sorry. So 2013. At that time, he only averaged 7 assists, scoring 23 points per game. And then from 2015 on, it went from 7.7 to 6.7 to 6.6, 6.1, 5.2. Then it went up to 6.6 in 2020, but he didn't play that much in 2020 at all. He only played 5 games. And then it was 5.8 because Draymond, from there on, for 2015 on, Draymond really took over.
Yeah, he averaged more assists and stuff. Like,
yeah,
he became the point guard, which is great
because Kerr elevated him.
Yeah,
like Kerr elevated Draymond to that role. Because if you go back to Mark Jackson Warriors, you had Klay trying to score off the dribble. Like when you have the Steve Kerr system, like, and that's not an indictment on Klay, but it's like when you under the Steve Kerr system, Klay is a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Under Mark Jackson, he was trying to create for himself. So I feel like when we're looking at the numbers for Curry, we put the proper context. Like, okay, how is the offense? Like, what is the coach telling these guys, and what did it result in? Because, like you said, without Draymond Green, that Warriors offense isn't the Warriors offense.
Yeah, no, I think they realized that Draymond Green can be their ball facilitator, and it would help open up Stephen Curry as a scorer because he's so dynamic as a scorer. So it works in their favor because you can alternate them. That's why I think they're dangerous this year, because now you have 3 ball facilitators on the roster that could at any time shuffle who you need to get them, and either one of them could truly get you a good basket. So they're going to be very, very dangerous offense.
Yeah, they're going to be good, but they're just a terrible matchup for the Lakers.
No, they are. No, defensively,
terrible matchup for the Lakers.
Obviously, going into the playoffs when matchups matter most, that's different. But again, during the season, if they get hot, and certain things happen, you know how the light-skinned boy does. So it starts shimmying, and next thing you know, we got ESPN specials because of the Golden State Warriors.
So I have a question. Did any of you guys watch Steph in college?
Nope.
Barely.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh yeah,
I did in Davidson and Charlotte.
Yeah, I was actually in college at the same time, man. I used to watch Steph Curry. I think he was a sophomore, like when he, started getting on the map, and I used to watch. Like, how's this dude just throwing the ball up, hitting everything? Like he plays like he's 12, and he's just killing in college. I could not understand it. I could not understand how this little kid looks like he's 12, playing the game incorrectly. And he's averaging over 20 points a game. And then the next year, I think he led the college in assists because he just focused on his ball handling. And I was like, yeah, this is never going to work in NBA. This is never going to work. I used to love watching Steph Curry in college. Like I used to tune in all his games and watch his games, and just I can't believe this kid is doing what he's doing. And then when he got drafted, what did you say, Ralph?
Now, by me being in Charlotte, I seen him when he was 10, and he was doing this then. Like when he was playing in AAU and the rec league, the dude was playing like this then. So I mean, like what y'all seen in college and in the pros, I seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, I was like, this dude is fun to watch, but he's garbage. I don't know how he's going to be in the NBA. Like this dude, he's fun to watch. Like I think he made it to the Sweet 16. Like I didn't just playing like a kid basically. So the Knicks want to draft. Though, whoever drafts Steph Curry is going to be the dumbest team in the league. This kid, he's too little. He cannot play in the NBA. And then his first year or two, he was decent. He got hurt a few times, and then this dude just took off. I was like, damn, I was completely wrong. This dude worked with a game.
Well, if he would have came to
everything.
If he would have came to the Knicks, you gotta understand we had Dan and Tony. That's the reason why he wanted to come there to run that type of offense. And I feel like if he would have ran that type of offense, he would have flourished in that instantly for his style of play.
Yeah, I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong on Wade too. I thought Wade was gonna be trash too. So
hey, Brandon, you would have been right if Brandon, you would have been right if he would have drafted to the Knicks. He would have been his whole career would have been messed up because he went to the Knicks.
Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
All right. So before we get up out of here, guys, I wanted to bring up a topic because we brought up the Jerry West stuff and obviously the whole transition of the positions. The other day, Rick Barry said something about how he felt that if he had the treatment and all the stuff that the players have, all the luxuries that they have today, that the players of his era would actually be greater. So let's start with you, Brandon. Do you believe if Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, all those guys had like the masseuses, the charter flights, the cooked meals, and all of the luxury of being an NBA player today, they would be greater basketball players? He said he would be faster, quicker, and stronger. That was his words.
You know, I talked about this a few times. Like they were great in that era, but today, players are just like bigger, more athletic, things like that, and you can only do so much with what you're working with. For instance, I talk about Jerry West. Jerry West, he's like 6'2", 6'3". So to me, no matter what you give Jerry West, I don't think that he would have averaged 30 points a game in the 90s because of you have to be such a physically dominant player other than just a skilled player. But, then we talk about people like Steph Curry, who's 6'3", who's small, and he's doing what he's doing. So, I'm kind of going towards the way Chad has been saying things, even though Chad sucks at times. But
that's the thing, right, Brandon? Because that's what he's saying. He's saying if Jerry West has the trainer,
yeah,
right? Like the team trainer. Because remember, there's a team doctor, all of that stuff. Does he end up having the physicality on top of that, on top of the skill?
They might be right at times. You got Dame Lillard, who's only like 6'2", and boy averaging 30 points a game.
Allen Iverson, 4 scoring titles, 6'30".
So Jerry West, he averaged. I don't want to say it.
Go watch the man's highlights and look at how quick he can come off the dribble and shoot, man.
Jerry West's highlights do not do him justice, so I'm not going to look at his highlights. Those do not do him justice.
Look at how
there's not many of them. There's not many of them. They don't do him justice.
Many, but if you look at what I'm telling you.
Yeah, they don't do him justice like you're saying about Pistol Pete and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
if they were devoted like they were in their time to today with everything, it could be different.
You don't know Pistol Pete was doing mathematics to get the right trajectory so the ball could go. Yeah. Travis, what do you think of that comment? What do you think about Rick Barry saying that they would be stronger, faster, and quicker, and just be as good as players today, if not better, because they would have the flights, the treatment that players get, and the luxury that players have today compared to back then? He said they used to rent cars to get to their games.
Yeah, I mean, hey, props to like them, like they had to go through a lot, but I don't think that. I think there are some, like in any era, there are some guys who would translate very well to today. Like I think O-Rob would be a menace today if he had everything working for him, just because you could tell that, like, even if you give all those same things, like the skill level of like some guys is just better than others. Like there are players who are just better than others, regardless of like the medicine and like whatever.
He has the size too. He has the size to play today too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you have your size and like, I mean, like if you look at it through the age, like right now, the only thing really over time that the position rather that's gotten time statistically bigger, like as a player, has been the guard position. Like big men have actually gotten smaller statistically. That's just from like a height weight. But I mean, like, I don't think that they would have been better than today's players, but I think that you have some specimens or some outliers who would be. We definitely put up numbers today. I don't think Jerry West would be a 30-point per guy today. Just because I think that there would be a lot more ways to defend him. I think he'd still be great, but I don't think he would be the focal point of an offense. I think he would be. I mean, it is tough to say exactly like who would do well. Like, would Wilt be a menace today? Sure. But
yeah, he probably would average 50 points a game.
Forget about it, bro. What do you think about that, Cam? What do you think? Did you hear what Rick Barry said? Are you familiar with Rick Barry?
Yeah, see, I hate this conversation a little bit just because I don't really think that, like they're like, oh, medicine and training. I don't really think that makes you necessarily a better basketball player. I think I'm more kind of in agreement. I think Travis was saying, like, as far as if you're a transcendent great player, you're going to be great in any era. I don't think that eating better necessarily is going to make you a better basketball player. Like, you hear stories about guys like Shaq and Dwight Howard, like eating McDonald's before every game. Like, so the dieting thing doesn't necessarily make you better. The training, yeah, but I think they would benefit more from just having the precedent set from previous players. So, like, if you take a Jerry West or somebody, they have the example set before them, like, okay, these guys set the foundation and I can build off of that. The guys that were playing in the 60s and stuff, like, they didn't have anything really to build off of. So they couldn't be a Kyrie Irving because the skill set wasn't there for them to look at as an example, like, oh, I can do this, I can build off of this. So it's like, there's so many different factors, but I think that training and, like, when they go far as that, like, that's not really as big of a factor as the precedent being set. Like, they showed us how to be more creative with our dribbling so we can build off of that foundation.
I got you. But they used to smoke and drink in the locker room during half times, right?
Let's bring that back. Let's do that.
I mean, they used to do that in the 90s and 2000s too.
Yeah.
I mean, if we listen to what Gilbert Arenas said the dude had a bag of Coke fall out in the middle of a game. So
didn't Durant say, like, they're all token back there? Like,
yeah. And if we let Jordan fans tell us all of the Bulls were crackheads,
man, after the Last Dance, man, that narrative just went crazy. I didn't hear nothing about
that's because Jordan said that.
Hey, Ralph, what do you think of that, Ralph? And we'll let Chad finish up because I know me and Chad are on agreement in the same part, so I'll let Chad finish up. But what do you think of that, Ralph? What Rick Barry said about that, and what saying that basically they just have it a little bit better, that they could play, that they can handle playing in this league, especially with the treatment that the players get. Are you there, Ralph?
Ralph, no.
Ralph's on mute. Ralph's on TikTok Live.
My bad. What?
Yeah, what do you think about Rick Barry saying about how, like, he says that because people talk about plumbers. There's the plumbers, the famous word that gets tossed around from back in the days in the 80s and the 60s, and he was saying how that if they had the training, the coaching, the medicine, all the stuff that these players get, the hot tubs, the flights, the charter flights, the food, that they would be better players. They would be bigger, faster, and stronger and quicker because of that. And that's an advantage that they didn't have, that players today have. Do you agree with him on that? What do you think of that?
I do. I think, like, if they had some of the advantages as far as working out and everything, yeah, I think they would be better. Me personally.
All right. Okay. I Chad and I agree. Right, Chad? You agree, right, Chad? That people like Jerry West. I know Brandon makes fun of him being 6'3". He wouldn't be 175. He would at least gain a couple of more pounds on some muscle.
I agree. I mean, dude, between the rules, the medical advances, the travel, hell, they're going to naturally be better anyways. These athletes are naturally better. And then on top of it, their careers will probably last longer than 13, 14 years as well. But Jerry West, man, without a three-point line, 20 shots a game, 27 points a game, you telling me with a three-point line and the way that they call fouls now, you let him take 20 shots, he ain't averaging 30? You lost your mind. Man's IQ, his toughness, his quickness.
Brandon's getting flashbacks of arguments that last.
That's why he's the logo.
Hey, guys, I got to go.
All right, we're actually about to get up out of here, man. So listen, y'all. That was Ralph Alexander 65. You can catch him on TikTok, y'all. He got great lives on TikTok. Shout out to him. We're actually about to get up out of here so we can watch some football. That was a great conversation, man. I want to give a shout out to Travis, Chad, and Cam. Again, Cam, thank you so much, man. Continue to post whatever you feel like. You are free to post all you want.
Hey, 1,000 apologies to Cam also, man. I've been coming at him on some of his posts, and hey, man, I don't want that smoke anymore. So
that's all love, man. I love the conversations.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
Is this the first time you caught one of our shows, Cam? Have you been catching up what we do on every Sundays and stuff like that?
Ironically, like I think yesterday I saw a clip. I think Brandon posted. It was basically going into detail a little bit about illegal defense, and I was like, oh, okay, like what is this? And then I saw his logo at the bottom. I'm like, okay, that's what the the group is for.
Yeah,
I didn't notice you guys did a weekly show, but that's dope. I definitely want to come back if y'all want.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, no, yeah, we'll definitely send you the link. You are more than welcome. Again, GOAT James Kingdom is here to represent basketball and the greatness of basketball, and obviously the greatness of LeBron James, the GOAT of basketball, the greatest of all time.
I wish we could get other Jordan fans like Cam, if that makes sense.
But that's why we got you, Ralph, and
Yeah,
We're talking to Clay. Get Clay to come on. Get Clay to come on.
They won't come on.
Clay
No,
ain't coming on.
Travis, get Clay to come on.
You have not, yeah, Travis. You actually get anybody. They listen to you. They hate us. So
Now this is the funny thing, right? Because I was making fun of these guys because we do a show on Sunday afternoons and we do a show on Friday nights, right? But supposedly these dudes who want to talk to Brandon and I all day long say that they work on Sunday afternoons and Friday nights. And as Cam said, if you in your 30s, majority of these guys are in their mid 30s. If whatever you've been doing your whole life, you've been a failure. If you cannot have the weekends off, I don't know what you've been doing. I don't know what's been going on in your life to where you working a Friday night and a Sunday morning. That means you are the bottom of the totem pole at your position or whatever job you possess. I don't know.
Savage.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm 42. I remember working at late nights and working the weekends when I was about Cam's age. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I had to earn my seniority. I had to earn my position. Like I tell people now, I get paid for what I know, not what I do. It's a difference now. I've earned that position or whatever. But anyways, y'all, it's been a great show. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Please make sure you hit the like button and share. Check out the membership for GOAT James Kingdom. Check us out on the Facebook group, GOAT James Kingdom, TikTok, GOAT James Kingdom, Twitter, GOAT James Kingdom, IG, GOAT James Kingdom. So this is where we are. You got Brandon, the sports analyst. You have Johnny, the exposer. We'll be back next Sunday. Gentlemen, we're going to want your top 10 players going into 2024. Okay, you can base it off whatever criteria you want to. I'm going to base mine off of last year, basically, and Brandon's going to do the same. And we'll just talk about the top 10 players going into the season and any predictions y'all have for the overall season. Being that basketball does start October 5th for any real basketball fan. It doesn't start Christmas. It starts October 5th.
All right, y'all.
Y'all have a great Sunday. Enjoy. This is GOAT James Kingdom. Peace, y'all.
See you guys.
I'll see.
Yep.